Hey guys, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Ankush from Aleph Consulting. Welcome in our Azure Weekly updates video. In this video, we will be going to talk about all the updates which has been released by Microsoft for Azure Cloud in last week. Well, here are the updates. So we have plenty of updates to be covered in this video. So we will be going to talk and understand in a deep dive about all of these updates, right? So let's quickly jump in and have a deep dive. Now, the first update which we have is for managed in disk. With the managed disk, what Microsoft have released is now we have a capabilities of doing the cross-tenant customer managed key encryption on the managed key. What that means is, let's take an example. If you have a tenant A or tenant B, your customer managed key is in tenant A in key vault, and your disk is in a tenant B subscription. Both are in a different tenant, and both are having a different subscription. In that way, you can have a capability to enable the encryption on your managed disk. So this is a new enhancement in terms of how you manage your encryption on the managed disk. Now the next update which we have is for web application firewall. Now we have the bot manager rule set 1.0 is now available for bot protection. So what this bot protection do? Now what happen if someone is basically using the bots to attack on your website, and you are having the Azure firewall or Azure application gateway with the Azure web application firewall. That's where this bot manager rule set will be going to protect your application for any kind of bot attacks, right? With this rule set, it's going to have a three different types of bot: good, bad, and unknown, and it's going to manage the all the bot signatures dynamically by using the Azure web application firewall. So this is the new enhancement in terms of the web application firewall, with which going to have a new set of bot protection manager or bot protection rules for the web application firewall. The next update which we have is again for application gateway. Now we have a per rule action capabilities on original web application firewall. What that means is, initially earlier what happened, you need to have or you need to set the multiple action in a one basically you need to define the multiple set of rules into the one uh, firewall, or on the one firewall rule set, and then you can have the action to be available on those multiple rules actions. But now what we have is we can define the rule actions on a particular rules, like earlier how you do if this request is coming from this public IP, if this is the thing, if this is the header and kind of thing you do where you're defining your multiple rules into a one rule set, and then you only have a capability of having the action on top of that, right? Now that capability has been completely changed. Microsoft have allowed you to do the rules action on a per rule. You don't need to go with the multiple round of rules creation into the rule section, right? In this one we have a multiple way of doing the conditioning, right? So we do have a condition like allow, block, log request, and anomaly scoring. These are the three things which we have it, right? So this is the new enhancement for the web application firewall. Now the next update which we have is again for application gateway with this new capabilities on the application gateway. Now we have a TLS 1.3 supported with the application gateway. What that means is the new predefined and custom v2 policies are now generally available. With these new policies, it's come with TLS 1.3 support, providing the improved security and performance benefit throughout fulfilling the need of your enterprise security policies, right? These are the introduced keeping in mind that hardening TLS configuration with 1.2 and EC SDE based Cypress source at the minimum. Now these are the predefined policies which are predefined or are out of box, which means you just need to go ahead and create your resources with these policies with, and this will automatically done the predefined set of the configuration for your application gateway. The next update which we have is for Azure SQL services. Now we do have a plenty of update into the into the Azure SQL services in the mid-November. So the first capability which we have is monitor the database restore progress at a more granular level into the Azure SQL database. The second update which we have is providing the additional transparency for automation and manual taken backup via SQL Server Management Studio using the MSDB backset tables with Azure Managed Instance. The third capability which is there is migrate to the Azure Managed Instance using the Rogue Relay service. Fourth, enable cross subscription point in time restore of SQL Managed Instance database in a safe and protected way. So these are the new capabilities which we have is for Azure SQL services. These services can be on SQL PaaS, SQL Managed Instance, right? So these are the capabilities this which are there. So the next update which we have is for Azure SQL Managed Instance. For Azure SQL Managed Instance, have the feature waves updated for the November 2022. What that means is the SQL Server Managed Instance features wave introduce a bundle of anticipated release that work together to make SQL Managed Instance more performant, reliable, and secure while enabling even deeper integration with the on-premise SQL Server and the broader Azure service platform, right? We are announcing the general availabilities of in this first phase, which will be going to be roll out soon, and all of the instances will be automatically updated as a part of regular update with no additional cost and the additional downtime to the service. So these are the, so it's going to have a wave updates. There would be a multiple updates would be released soon, and we would be having to hear more about all of these updates into the coming weeks. The next update which we have is for again managed instance, and the update is Azure SQL Managed Instance links for Server 2020-22. What that means is now we can use Azure Managed Instance links to for SQL Server 2022 to establish hybrid connectivity and modernize the on-premise SQL Server workload in Azure without the need to migrate, using the link to offload or scale out read write operations and the analytics, and to perform the minimum downtime migration when and if required. So these are the things which means now you can link between the managed instance and the server 2022 which is running on the on-premise, and can create the kind of read write scenarios, can create the load balancing scenarios, and can use the hybrid connectivity between these two kind of database services with uh, in the hybrid environment. And with this way we can offset or scale out our read out operations, and can perform all the activities by reducing the downtime. The next update which we have is for Synapse. So Azure Synapse Link for SQL servers. Now what that means is now Azure Synapse Link for SQL automates the extraction and movement of data from our relational database store into the both Azure SQL and the SQL Server 2022 to the Synapse Analytic dedicated SQL pool. Now with this, what that means is now it's going to be very simple. We don't need to basically, do the manual task. With this link, it's allow us to do the automated process of extract the data from SQL databases or the SQL Server 2022, and directly import the data into the Azure Synapse Analytic dedicated SQL pool, right? Your data is replicated in near real time without the need of develop and deploy the ELTs or ELT pipelines. So we no longer need to deploy any kind of ELTs and ELT pipelines. Once in your Synapse Analytics, the data can be used to into the advanced analytic and the other downstream process system, which much faster than traditional batch-based ELTs or ELTs scenario. So this is the new things where you don't need to create any ELT or ETL pipelines. It's kind of reliefs, because it's a very simple and straightforward going in. You don't need to go ahead and have the multiple batch processes to be created. The next update which we have is for Azure SQL Managed Instance. The update is like now we have a backup portabilities to server 2012. What that means is restoring a backup file into the easier way to copy a SQL Server database to the another instance. Now we can restore a copy of or a copy only full backup of Azure databases hosted on SQL Managed Instance to our instance on Server 2022 hosted anywhere. Now, the use case can be like if there is a managed instance which is running on the Azure and you have a Server 2012 running on the on-premise where you are running your test environment, right? So that's where you can create a copy of your full backup of database and you can restore it to the on-premise, right? That kind of portabilities we have with the SQL Managed Instance. Now, this feature allow us to easily share the data with the consumers and customers and leasable third parties or simplify the refresh on the other environment as I explained. The next update which we have is for again SQL Server. Now we have a DR secondary free with SQL Server on Azure VM, right? So what that means is if we are running a pay-as-you-go account and we are running the high availability of a SQL Server at the disaster recovery into this another region, we no longer need to pay any kind of additional cost. So it's going to be the full of free of cost. With this new high availability and disaster recovery benefit, you can license up to two passive secondaries for free, and then only license cost for them would be the primary and not for the secondary instance. Now what that means is like if let's say an example, you have your primary instances running on the one region and you already have the activated them, right? You already have all the licenses and everything has been done on those servers. Now if you're running your DR or you're running your secondary database into the another region and replicating from the primary region, you don't need to pay for the license cost. Yes, the machine cost, storage cost, compute cost, memory cost, everything need to be paid. Network cost, everything need to be paid. But you don't need to pay for the license cost, and you can have up to two passive secondaries for free of cost. Right now, how you can enable this? There is the setting into the VM configurations into SQL Server configuration, not a VM configuration. That's somewhere you need to enable it on the portal, and then it will be automatically get free of cost. The next update which we have is ARM based VMs are now available into the another for Azure regions, right? As we know, Microsoft have announced a general purpose DP SVS or DP LSVS and memory optimized EP SVS VM series, right? Built out on the Ampere Ultra ARM based processor. Now with all of these new VM series are replicated to the another regions also, and those regions are West US, North Central US, UK South, and the France Centrals, right? As the result, that's new VMs are now available into the 15 Azure regions, and the VMs are now available John into the following reasons. Now John availability has been also allowed for all of these VMs, and those reasons are East US V2, East US, Central US, East Europe, sorry, the West Europe, North Europe, and the Australia East. Right. Well, all of these are the updates in this video. I hope you like this video. If you like, please click on like and subscribe for more upcoming videos. And feel free to reach us if you have any questions. Thank you.